Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Lisa. I've been teaching English as a second language online for over 10 years now. So this is part 3 in a video series of how to get started teaching online. So in part 1, we talked about how to get started, getting your certificate. And then in part 2, we talked about the equipment and working with adults versus students. And I gave you some suggested companies to apply with. So in this video today, I want to talk more about teaching children, what to expect from companies, what to expect on your end as a teacher, what you should ask or think about from the company. I'll give you some suggested companies that focus on children and also companies to deal with if you're non-native. So you can certainly teach if you're not a native English language learner. In part 4, I'm going to talk about starting your own business. If you don't want to contract with any company, you can certainly do this on your own. And I've done that for many years. So I'll get you started with that. So first, let's talk about teaching English. So I have a list here of a few things that I want to remember to say. So teaching English in general, you have to think of your schedule as being wide open. Why do I say that? Because you can't think of it as a traditional 9 to 5 job. You have to know that you could have students anywhere from 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 4 a.m., till 10, 11. They have companies that will book students 24/7. So you have to think of your workday as wide open. If you limit yourself too much, if you only say, I want to work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., you're limiting yourself. So you have to really have a lifestyle that's flexible and where you can fit classes in throughout the day. That's really how you have to look at this business. Try not to limit yourself too much. With that being said, that means you can do this full time. You can work towards building your student base because you can work from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. if you want. And it's nice because you can do some classes in the morning, you can have the day free, do your errands, you can do another job, teach at night for a few hours. So you really can make this a full-time business if you'd like, or I would suggest starting part-time and supplement other work until you get your feet wet. So let's talk about getting your feet wet. Get experience. That's the first thing. You can break into this business easily with children because the standards are lower, because students, of course, are learning a basic level of English. So they're more looking to see if you have the personality, if you're reliable, if you can be friendly, have a nice smile when you teach children. So some companies to think about, and these are ones that I've noticed had good reviews. I worked with a couple of them. VIP Kid, I haven't worked with them, but they have gotten some very good reviews. I'll put the links to these companies in the description. I'm not being paid by any of these companies to promote them, so these are not affiliate links. It just directly links you to the website. So VIP Kid, iTutor, again, they have a younger student base. EF, Palfish. Palfish runs off of an app. You teach through an app, but I've also seen some good reviews on Palfish. And there's a company for non-natives. If you go to, rather it's a resource, not a company, goodairlanguage.com. They have a list of other companies that are willing to hire non-native speakers as teachers. So that will get you started. Get your feet wet. You need to get experience. And once you get the hang of it, you can start to either transition to other companies. Now you start to build your resume, and that's the best way. What to expect. With young students, know that you're going to teach them for a shorter period of time. So with adults, typically 45 minutes to 60 minutes is a typical lesson, sometimes even an hour and a half. Sometimes students could double up on their lessons. They might take lessons 2-3 times a week, as adults. Children, they can also take it more frequently, but for a shorter period of time. What does that mean? That means you might have to teach more lessons with children to make more money because your lessons could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You typically are not going to have a class with a young elementary student for 60 minutes. You typically will not have a class that long, which means you're going to have more classes to make more money. So you must think about that. Think about how you will divide your schedule. Materials, this is very important. So before you really commit to a company, make sure you're clear whether you have to provide your own material or they're going to provide it for you. Companies tend to provide material for younger kids, so usually the material is there. Know if you're willing to do certain things. There was a company that insisted that I sing a song before my class. So, are you willing to do that? If that's not your style, then maybe that company won't work for you. So, what do you have to do? Some companies want you to use props. Not always, but sometimes they want you to use props. Make sure you're clear on the age range of the students that you will be teaching. Be ready to give that sample lesson class. You might have to do it as pretend, the interviewer will be a pretend child, or they'll ask you to videotape something. So be prepared to do that. Also, will you have to give feedback after each lesson? So many language companies, one way of tracking the quality of the lessons is for the teacher to give feedback to the student, and the student usually on their end could give feedback of you as a teacher. So be ready to write constructive feedback. How to teach and how to give feedback. How to teach in terms of one aspect with mistakes. So feedback can be positive or negative or just generally constructive, helpful. You're not looking to catch every little mistake. You're looking to catch mistakes that might be frequent. So if they frequently are mispronouncing a word, that could be something you can put in your feedback. Is it something grammatical? Word choice. So you have to try to find ways to give good feedback. You have to be clear on what the company considers feedback. What do they want as feedback? I've worked for companies where they wanted very specific feedback. You can't just say whatever you want. Also, learn to work quickly. Have templates ready once you get the hang of it, where you're just copy and pasting. Makes it a lot easier. So you have to get that experience, get the ball rolling to get more comfortable. So those are some things that I wanted to cover about the functionality. You are expected to be on time. That is the biggest thing. You should also know, again, how you're going to get the work. So you need to ask that. Are you going to be just emailed when something becomes available? Do you have to open up availability and the company will assign slots to you? So those are some things to think about. So we'll leave it there for today. I will start to expound on how to teach, how to correct students, what to correct, what to listen for. So those are things to consider. Also, think about you as a teacher. What makes you a great teacher? If you have no teaching experience, it's okay. You don't need it. But what makes you a good teacher? Think about your strengths and your weaknesses. And we'll talk more about that in the next video. Everybody, take care. Have a good day.